Hi, everybody, and welcome to my podcast, Your Strength Within. My name is Emmanuel Ben Isaac, and I'm here to help you overcome your anxiety. In today's episode, what I will be talking about is the power of positivity and how it will help you calm your anxiety. Now, whenever a person is, we want to understand why the power of positivity, why positivity, helps somebody overcome anxiety, is that we need to understand, why we're having anxiety. Most of the time why we're having anxiety is because we have negative thoughts. We have certain beliefs that certain things are going to happen to us in a negative way. Like, for example, if somebody's in school, they believe that they are not smart enough and that they're going to fail, that they're not capable in passing the test. Or someone in business believes that he will fail, that they won't succeed in business. It can be even with a spouse, that they believe that their spouse doesn't love them because they don't believe anybody can actually love them. And some people actually have a hard time being in a relationship or getting married because they believe a certain negative thing about themselves and about life itself as well. And also the world, the way it is, and that causes us anxiety, that causes us stress. Person that wants to succeed in a test, they're stressed out the entire time, studying for the test, taking the test. The entire time they're not thinking clearly. They're not here. They're not in the moment. They're stuck in their head and they stressed out, and all they can think about is that I'm gonna fail, and I suck and I can't do it. They have that negative self-talk to themselves, which is a problem as well. It is definitely a problem to also have that negative self-talk that we have, and everybody has this. Everybody has this thing. Some of us have more than others, and I can speak from my own experience. I used to have this a lot. And even to today, I still have that sometimes. But I worked on it, of course, and it took me a while to change, to make that shift in my mindset from the negative to the positive. Even when the situation was clearly a bad one, I would try to look the good in it. And it's hard. I'm speaking already. I'm trying to work on this already for 10 years, 11 years, and I still have a hard time looking at things in a positive way. I'll give you an example. I grew up in New York. I lived here most of my life. I was not here for about 8-9 years. I was away from New York, and I moved back. And I do not like New York whatsoever. If you ask anybody that knows me, they'll ask them, like, what does Emmanuel think about New York? They'll give you a whole entire list of things that I hate. And somebody even told me, he's like, you see, I didn't even realize this. And I've been doing this for years, this positivity, try to be more positive and everything. And it came up to me, he's like, listen, I always hear things negative about New York. What is good about New York? Why not? You're here right now. You're living here. Why not look at it in a positive way? And it's crazy. And I said to myself, I'm like, I can't believe it. I never realized that. And I was like, yeah, that's true. I should be looking at it in a more positive way. Why don't I? I said to myself, it's because I don't like it over here at all. But I'm here, so why not make the best of it? Why not enjoy? Why not look at what is good about New York? And there's plenty. Again, it's not the best place to be. I still don't think so. But there is still a lot of good over here that other places don't have. So it also calmed me down and also helped me out and actually also enjoy the place and enjoy it. And it reduced my anxiety, because every time I would come to New York, I would feel anxious. I would feel the stress over here, and I didn't like it. It wasn't calm. So the power of positivity, it will help you to calm down your anxiety. It would help you to be more in a happier state of mind. And you'll also be more in control of situations, because what you're doing is that you're not letting the situation define what it is. You're defining the situation. Because you can take a negative situation, for example, somebody, they were dating and it didn't work out. And, it hurts. It sucks that it didn't work out with this specific person. At that moment, it really hurts. But I can, later on in life, you will realize is that, hey, maybe this person wasn't the person for me. It wasn't meant to be. We have to think about that in a positive way. Maybe down the line, thank God it was right now and not later on when we have kids, and it would have been much harder. We need to think about it in a positive way to make us feel better, feel happier, to calm our anxiety. It is very important to get this down, and it's hard to do, especially whenever you're just starting off, because again, anxiety comes from a certain mindset. It comes from a negative mindset. It comes from a low self-esteem. It comes from this, lack of self-confidence, and it comes from, again, from trauma, of course, beliefs that people have told us. And what we need to do is change those beliefs and change that mindset into more of a positive one, and think in a more, I want to say, healthier mindset, because it is healthier. And people sometimes may disagree and say, oh, but you're just being too optimistic. You're not being a realist. No, that's not true. There's always a famous example, like, you take a cup, right? And there is half a glass is full and half a glass is empty. What do you see? Right? Some people might say, oh, it's a half a glass empty. It's a half a glass full. Correct? No, there's just water in the cup. That's being a realist. Being an optimist, and you choosing to looking at it in your own way, which I personally think is the right way, because it will help you so much. It will benefit you so much. So why not do it? Is looking at the cup half full and saying, like, look at this. I have a cup that's half full. Yes, you have a cup with water, but it's half full. Instead of looking at, I have a cup of water and it's half empty. So how is it possible after all these years of having a certain mindset, how do we change that? Because the negativity that we experience in life is what's causing our anxiety, from other people, from ourselves, from our surroundings. It can be your spouse, it can be from your job, it can be from your family, it can be from your friends, whatever it is. You have to identify where that negative is coming, where the negativity is coming from. And it's hard to identify if most of your life you've been in that loop, because we don't know anything outside that loop. We don't know anything outside that box. So how do we identify? So first of all, what we need to do is, first things first, is to write down the situations that you see that causing you anxiety, that you feel stressed about, you have fears about, or you feel negative about, whatever it is. Write them down. Write exactly what you're going through. Write what you're feeling and what you believe the situation is. It can be anything. Someone talking behind your back, someone that screwed you over business, that you failed in a test, that you failed in business, that you feel like you're a failure as a mom, you feel like a failure as a dad, you feel a failure, just whatever it is that you feel negatively about. Write that down. Write it down on a piece of paper. And again, it's going to require work. To get over anxiety requires work. It's not a 1, 2, 3 instant relief and that's it. And I know that's why most people take medication. But again, I don't want to get off topic on that, because I just disagree with the whole entire concept, with medication, because I believe with anxiety is that, there's some internal work. There is internal work that needs to be done. So we need to write those things down that are negative, right? That we feel bad about, or we're stressed about, or feel fear about, right? Our anxieties. Write it down. And then on the other side, write the good about it. Try to see it in a good light. Even about ourselves, most of the time we think negative about ourselves. We think bad about ourselves. We don't believe that we're good enough, because no one's ever told us that. No one's ever came up to us and told us, like, hey, you're good at this A, B, and C. No one's ever told us, oh, wow, some compliments. It rarely ever happens. Most of the time, most of our lives, people with anxiety, we've heard negative things about ourselves. And that's from external and internal. And we need to change that. So we need to also write down the things, and this is what I did, the things that I've told myself that I'm negative about, that I'm not good at. That can be anything. I used to believe, I'm not good in business. I said, I'm not good at that. I'm not a good salesman. I know when I remember I was working in this company that I used to work in customer service. And they used to have a sales side in this company, and I used to be so nervous going to the sales. And I remember the sales manager's like, why don't you try to come out? Come to the sales. You'll make really good money. I was like, I'm a little nervous about the sales. I don't think I'll be a good salesman. And I really believe that. I really believe that. And I never went to the sales side until one day I was like, I am sick and tired of it. I'm like, why is it that you're so afraid of doing in sales? What is it? You're afraid of, I said to myself, I'm afraid of rejection. I'm afraid of failure. I'm afraid of what are people going to think. I make it sound like a fool. I can't sell. I can't do it. So what I did is I changed my mindset. I changed my talk. I changed and I said, no, you are going to be a successful salesman. You are going to be amazing. You can succeed in selling. You're going to make a lot of money. People are going to reject you. That's part of it. But it's nothing personal to you. It's got to do something with them. Maybe they don't have the money for the product. Maybe they can't afford it. Maybe they're going through some sort of situation. It has nothing to do with you personally. Guess what? In my first week after training, I closed the most in the office in 1 week. I was shocked. Because you see, like I just changed my entire mindset. I changed it. I took away the anxieties. I did, in a way, self-therapy, which I'm going to be talking about in this podcast as well, and how to do that. This is part of it. So write down in the journal the good and the bad about yourself, whatever it is. And if I can guarantee you won't, most of us, this from my own experience, every time I would ask somebody with anxiety, every time I had a conversation, I'm like, what's good about you? And I know most of them, they said nothing. And I told them there's a lot of good about you. And after we spoke for a while, and I would show them A, B, C, D, E, F, and they were like shocked. I was like, there's a lot of good about you, but the problem is no one actually told you what is good about you. They'd always looked at the things that you didn't do right. And I also have a problem with that till today. I try myself and I step myself back and I say to myself, wait, but this person did do good stuff, A, B, and C. It's not all bad. And this can be with your spouse, by the way. You might look at your spouse and say, oh, this, she didn't do this and this and that. She doesn't do this and this and that. But what does she do? What does he do actually? What is good that he actually does? What's good about him? Sit there and think, and it's going to take you a while. And if you can't come up with something, ask somebody. Someone that you trust, someone that that you feel good with. Not some person that's going to, they're going to tell you like, oh, nothing's good about you or nothing's good about this person. No, the point is over here is to change the mindset. And I'm telling you guys, it's going to benefit you so much if you try to put in the effort in changing it. And I know that it's difficult, especially living with having a certain way of thinking your whole entire life and trying to change it. It hurts. It does. It definitely does. It hurt me. I remember for a while, and then I got used to it. It's like a muscle. The first time you go to the gym, you're sore the next day. You're like, oh my God, this hurts. I can barely lift up my arm. I can barely walk. And my chest is killing me. You feel that. But then after a while, what happens is that your soreness goes away and you start building muscle. And you see the results and you start feeling good. It's the same exact thing with the mind. It's the same exact way. We have to program it in a good way. And that means if you need to, once you identify the good and once you see the good about yourself, then you're going to start realizing the bad in your life, meaning the bad people in your life, the negativity in your life, the social media, the news, all these things. You're going to realize, you're going to be aware, you're going to be open, you're going to be like, wait, this is not good for me. You see, this is causing me to go down. You're going to be able to identify that about you. It's something amazing I always say about people with anxiety. They have an ability to identify themselves in a much deeper way than most people because they start becoming so in tune with themselves and their emotions that most people are not able to get there. I'm so grateful today, and it sounds weird that I went through anxiety. I'm so happy about that. I really am. And it sucked when I was going through it. Trust me. I'm not saying that it was like, a walk in the park and I loved every single. No, it was definitely a hard time. It was definitely a hard experience and it was definitely suffering. But today, I'm so happy that I went through it because I am the person that I am today. That I'm able to help people with these situations because I've spoken to plenty of people that they couldn't really relate to a lot of people because they didn't understand what they were going through. And I was able to relate with them because I understood exactly what they were going through. I knew what it was. And once I was able to tell them, like, listen, I understand. And if somebody didn't go through it, wouldn't understand. So, like, I'm able to relate with them. And I'm so happy. And just seeing their reaction is all worth it. So I'll give you guys another example of, like, positivity about my brother that he went through a brain tumor. And he was literally on his deathbed. And he told me after he got out of the situation, and he wasn't able to walk or talk or eat normally or anything like that. He was just in bed because he wasn't able to move, and he was just depending on somebody else. And he told me after he got out of it, he's like, Emmanuel, what's positive about my situation? Why did I have to go through this? I have 4 kids. Everything was fine with my life. Why did God have to put me through this kind of situation? So I asked him, like, listen, it's definitely hard. I'm not going to say that it's not an easy situation that you went through. It's definitely a difficult one. I wouldn't wish this upon anybody going through this kind of thing. But I told him, like, listen, even with that, what's the point of looking at it in a negative way? It doesn't help. Why not choose to look at it in a positive way? Because there is a lot of things that did come out of it that did come out to be good. And I told him one of the things that you started having a more of appreciation to life that you never had before. You start appreciating you're able to walk, you're able to talk, you're able to eat by yourself, be independent. You never had that before because all you were thinking about is money, 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 money. And that's what you always stressed about. And you never were able to appreciate what you had. And now you do. I told him, see, that's the positive thing about the situation that you went through. And again, it's one of the positives. There's definitely much more if you look into it. And I told him, you should really sit down and write it down. And I'm not saying, again, I told him, it's definitely a hard situation. I'm not saying that it's not, but what's the point of looking at it in a negative way? Does it help you in any way? It doesn't. It doesn't help anybody. But we naturally go to that state. We naturally go there. We naturally go to negativity. And it's going to happen to us all the time. What we need to do is be more conscious. Being positive is being more conscious and saying that, no, I'm going to be more positive in the situation and let's look at it in a positive way. And it sounds berserk. Like, I give you another example is that I remember I was supposed to go upstate and I had to either take the car or take a bus. And unfortunately, I wasn't able to take the car. Something happened to the car. It broke down and it had to be fixed. So we had to take a bus, and they were all saying like, oh, this sucks. We got to take a bus. I'm like, hey, listen, you never know. Maybe if we would have taken the car, who knows what would have happened on the way? Maybe I would have got a ticket. Maybe the car would have flipped over. I have no idea. Do you have an idea? Maybe it would have broken down on the way there. Thank God it happened then. So the power of positivity is really, really going to benefit you. Again, work on it by writing down the negative things in your life, whatever it is, the things that you fear, things that you're stressed out about, things that you believe that are bad about yourself, and change that into the good. And write down, hey, what is good about me? What is positive about this situation? There definitely is something good about me. I can't be all bad. It's impossible. There's definitely good within you, and there's definitely good in the situations. And you should give yourselves good, positive words of affirmation. Instead of saying that I can't succeed, saying, you know what? I can succeed. I can become successful. I am capable of doing it. Even if right now you don't believe it, because we're so used to being brainwashed in a negative way and saying, oh, you suck, you're stupid, you're not capable, you're not going to be successful. Why not brainwash yourself in a positive way? And you're able to brainwash yourself in doing that, saying, you know what? I am capable. I am smart. I can succeed. I will become successful. And little by little, subconsciously, you are changing in your mind. It's going to take some time, but in your mind, you're changing that negativity, and you're pushing that away, that insecurities, that negative mindset, a negative talk, into more of a positive one, and bringing in the positivity. If you guys need help with it, I will definitely, we can definitely talk one-on-one. I am so I'm not trying to brag over here, but since I've worked on it so much, I'm able to pay attention to the positivity pretty easily. So when I talk with you, I'm able to point it out. If you do need help with that, I'll be more than happy to help with that. Definitely check out you can hit me up through Instagram. My page is Your Strength Within. It's your_strength within. You can just send me a DM, and we can definitely set up a call, and we can definitely, talk and see what's good about you and help you out in seeing certain situation in a positive way. I'm more than happy to help you out. This is what I want to do. And if you do want to do one-on-ones, I do that as well. If you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, please do by clicking the subscribe button and, the notification to receive notification of my new videos. And I will see you guys in the next episode.